Oh, we're not live on Facebook.
I connected it. Yeah, I re-added the channel. And it says it was connected. If we're blocked from going live, which is very possible.
Yeah, no, we're only on Twitch and Facebook. I mean, YouTube.
It should be on both YouTube, your personal and by default.
Yeah, it shows Facebook. You must be blocked from going live.
Didn't do any notice.
Yeah, see, it says online. Or Facebook says sending data. Sending data. What does that mean?
They're just probably blocking us.
Yeah, I think they are. Weird. Well,
Unless we go live from the phone, maybe.
You can try. I don't know. It was just weird because they cut the stream yesterday. So there's obviously something.
Technical difficulties, everybody. No Facebook. Yeah, I know. They were blocked. Yeah, mine doesn't even give me an option to go live, so we must be blocked.
Interesting.
Are you sure it's not from your own Facebook?
No, because I'm on the 5D. I mean, I can double check, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe they blocked every. I don't know. Shit's weird.
I don't know. They obviously they do these things.
That's from 5D full disclosure. We can try it. Yes.
Okay. What a drag. Yeah, we've been already in the works of like different platforms because Facebook hates us.
I'm gonna do it. See what happens.
Okay.
All right. So as we're live on Facebook now,
Okay.
work around.
Does Nestle own Facebook? Probably. You can see us from the corner. That's funny. Weird angle.
Okay.
Work with it, fuckers.
Doing the best. It was weird seeing myself, and it's like this way, and I'm like have to do a double check because I'm used to looking here, and all of a sudden it's like angled this way, and I have like two places to work and like look at now. Weird.
Now we got 14 people on now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Facebook is giving us a hard time, so we'll have to figure it out. Restream is not translating to Facebook today. I know their stream was cut yesterday, so
I'm not trying to look.
I don't know. And me and Virginia were completely disabled from Facebook. So if you can't find us, that's why. We have our other second accounts, but it was weird. Like yesterday, right during the stream when they cut the guy's live stream for no reason, it just said the live stream had ended. And then within like 2 minutes, they disabled my Facebook permanently. I can't even appeal it. And they disabled Virginia's Facebook permanently. So I feel Facebook is on a rampage.
So clear, great picture. Yeah, we're using Buddha's phone.
Yeah.
Because we use an app that streams to every platform instead of going live on and having like multiple devices. It was easier just to use one because we used to do the double phone shit. Oh my God, what a shit show all the time.
What a shit show.
All the time. It was like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know how things could possibly go wrong with just two phones, but they did with this with our live streams. And I just remember the quality used to just be so bad because our phones were so bad. And we had no service in the middle of Colorado, and our phones were just like straight peach fuzz.
Oh my God.
The good old days.
Yeah.
To the people who still watch those streams, God bless you.
Yeah. They should probably just remove all of those streams.
Only confirms the great work you guys are doing. That is true, Debbie. That's true.
Yeah, if Facebook hates you, then you're doing something right.
Tell them the truth.
They definitely don't. They look for the trigger words. I'm not even sure what their trigger words are anymore, but you never know.
Vaccine.
Yeah, certain things you can't say. I don't even know what they are, though. Probably everything. Well, happy Saturday. Yesterday was, this camera's so much better. Yeah, it's just because it's on his phone
We're switching it up
versus the laptop. So yeah, soon we'll have a lot more angles and we're moving into some different things with the way we stream and how we stream, and so we'll share that as we go along, because it's been, you know, a long time coming where we know we have to evolve in a different direction with it. Did you know Zuckerberg owns the majority of land on Kauai? Yes.
He bought more.
Yes, we did know that.
It is so funny. I can't believe he bought more. Like recently, like he just bought like another like 500 fucking acres.
Yeah, Zuckerberg is
His
like,
mans won't stop.
and it's so funny because they were like screaming about like white colonists, but yet Mark Zuckerberg owns the majority of their island. So that's ironic.
Did they do anything about
irony.
it? Yeah, like did they do anything about it?
Facebook owns your island, so you mean owned? Is that what we did? Not know what we said. Their trigger words are everything that they are in bed with. Yeah. The censorship is real. It's gotten to the point where we see so many people who have gotten kicked off of like every social media for just any truth that they try to put out there. I saw the other day, and I wish I would have remembered who it was, but there was someone who got their YouTube account taken down, and it was pretty significant. It was like, you know, one of the people who like obviously like are big on putting out truth and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, they're on a rampage. They are absolutely on a rampage. But it's weird because then people like David Wilcock can still like post on YouTube. That's because he's afraid to say the word cabal. He's like, he's like the C word. Like
chips.
What exactly are we referring to? He's like, you know, those who shall not be named. I'm like, what
is this, Voldemort?
Yeah, like
what is this, Harry Potter?
Are we living in?
Harry Potter in 2021.
Like we're afraid to like say words. Like so weird.
Yeah, I guess there's another. I don't even want to say this C word, C-U-R-E, because they'll block you if you say you have a C-U-R-E for anything, and for COVID. And it starts with an I, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not even going to say it, because they said if you say this word, YouTube has just immediately been suspending those accounts. So they just pick up the algorithms, and like I said, now they have this new thing that could help with it, and they don't want anybody to know about it, just like the hydrochloric whatever thing that Trump said back before our lovely President Joe Biden took office. He's just doing such a great job. I can barely find the words to express.
Collapse for Joe Biden.
Collapse for Joe Biden. I'll just never forget that video where he was eating the ice cream and they were interviewing chocolate chip. What flavor did you get, Joe Biden? Choco chip. What do you have to say to the Trump supporters that say you're not doing a good job? Have some choco chip.
Bro, whoever is acting as Joe Biden gets an Oscar for that work. So keep up the good work, whoever's behind that mask.
But there's even way more like stuff he's done recently. Like it just doesn't get old with that man.
It really doesn't. But so it was so creepy because Gwen had sent me this video. Shout out to Gwen. And she sent me this video of like it seems like it's a pastor or something. Like that's what it sounded like to me, like a pastor's YouTube channel or something. But he's definitely on the awakening path. It wasn't like all like, religious or anything, but he, talks about different things on his channel. But anyways, he found this being's website, and I think his name was Donald Marshall. And anyways, he has a whole website dedicated to basically exposing cloning centers and giving his firsthand experience of basically being transported to these cloning centers many times. I won't read it because it's a bit long. But it was like nothing new. You know what I mean? Like it was nothing that like shocked me or like rocked my socks. Like it's all the things that we already knew. But then I was just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was like interesting to me because, they talked about, he basically was exposing the technology that they have where, they basically take the consciousness while you sleep and transport it into a clone that they have at the cloning centers. So a lot of people may not even know that they've actually been hijacked in that way. They don't even know that they necessarily have a clone. And when they go, and he was talking about the REM sleep, which as we know is like the deep state of sleeping. And so when they would go to sleep, this technology can essentially take the consciousness out of your body never moves, it stays where it is, and then transfers it to the cloning center. And he talked about how the cloning began back in like the 1940s. And it was originally created so that world leaders and elites, so basically the Illuminati and the Cabal, could all meet secretly. So they could go to sleep in their beds around the world, and then their consciousness would be taken and put into their clones at the cloning center, and that they could have secret meetings and no one would ever know because they never left their rooms. And so that's why it was originally created. And then he basically explains, and this is not the first cloning, testimonial I've read, but, that basically, to sum it up very nicely without getting removed from all social media, is that, as we know, the Illuminati, the Cabal, whatever you want to call it, are very sadistic. So because they got bored, essentially, they got bored of just meeting with other Illuminati clones. Over the years, they started cloning celebrities, politicians, sports people, famous people, and would essentially hijack their consciousness, put them in the clones, and use their clones for whatever sadistic things that they do at the cloning center. So we don't need to go too far into that, but very fascinating in the sense that it made me think about all of the technology, the dark technology that mom has had to battle, and how, that there was probably, besides the fact that mom is source, and from the time that she was young, she had always said she never really slept. It wasn't, she had so much energy. And for being with her for 3 years, we can tell you that woman don't sleep because she has so much energy. It's just impossible. She just can't, she literally can't sleep. And she's just always pushing planetary energy. But it made me think about, interestingly enough, was that one of the reasons also why mom never really slept? And did she purposely do that with the way that she designed her vessel as the avatar to not sleep? Because knowing that they would probably try to hijack her consciousness at some point. I don't know. And just an interesting thought, and of how they push the agendas about how much everybody needs to sleep. And if that has anything, probably has a big correlation to it, because the more people are sleeping, the easier they are to hijack. I don't feel this technology necessarily works anymore. I have no fucking idea. But I can imagine that is probably one of the biggest Atlantean technologies that mom has had to battle and is probably still taking down across the planet, because that is a huge way that they are still perpetuating what we see today. Like Joe Biden, like, is that man's a clone and the real Joe Biden is like sleeping in a chamber somewhere? I don't know. Could be. Would make a lot of sense. Because I remember at one point they said like Hillary Clinton had like 9 clones or something. But, you know, all the experimentation that they've done and how they're splitting consciousness. And then it takes us to Britney Spears, because there's been many stories about Britney Spears being cloned. Who knows? That's true. It probably is. But to see someone who's now like breaking out of the fractured consciousness and kind of like breaking through the MK Ultra is very fascinating. So I feel like a lot more things are going to come out about it, just because she's a huge name, and she is definitely someone who has been like, you know, targeted with that whole thing. So I don't know, just some interesting things that I feel like that is going to be that could probably be a big shocking disclosure for everybody.
Clones?
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
I think it gets weird.
I don't know. I'm surprised they haven't killed Tom McDonald. His old music calls out all that shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember that music
video?
Yeah,
he has a music video where he's like, they clone fucking rappers and shit. I'm good. Like, and it was interesting, like, because it has to do with celebrities, and also this is just like, you know, I feel like that kind of realm, because it relates to everybody so much, is going to be like a huge part of disclosure, hence Britney. And it was interesting because they had signed her money over to her younger sister. And if anybody doesn't know who her younger sister is, it's Jamie Lynn Spears. And if you're around my age, you know she was on a show and Nickelodeon called Zoe 101, and then she got pregnant around 17 years old, and they had to just wrap up the show pretty much. And I've seen things interesting enough of like who got her pregnant, like that creepy guy that runs those Nickelodeon shows, like these weird theories going around. And so I've seen like all of these Gen Zers who know nothing about, they're all ignorant to everything, and they want to live in denial about, you know, all of that stuff that's happened on the children's shows. And people were starting to like go after her. Oh yeah, Zoe 101 was straight fucking flames. Anybody that says otherwise, no. That was the show. And she was a lot like Britney in a lot of ways. They look alike. She can also sing, or maybe they made her sing. I don't really know. But after that show, she just went very quiet. Like, she has a family. She now has many kids, and yeah, married with a guy, whatever. I don't know if that's the original father. I have no idea. And people are now going after her because she signed to Britney Spears' money. If she were to ever die, like, everything would go to Jamie Lynn Spears, is pretty much like how the contract is looks. So people claim. So people are going after her, being like, you knew, like, you wouldn't like do anything, like thinking she's a mastermind behind it. It's like, look, you think if her older sister is on that much of a lockdown, what do you think's going on with the younger sister? That she's just going to roam free and blah, blah, blah. Britney probably wanted all of the money to her sister because her parents, look what they were doing. Yeah. Look what her dad was doing. You think she was going to leave some money to him? No, she wanted it to all go to her fucking sister. So if they were to ever kill her or something, you know what I mean? So yeah, people just, again, the ignorance and just not understanding, like, if Britney's been through it, and it's just the tip of the iceberg, because what's it going to come out as? Their dad probably was a rapist or sexually abused them, or they were sexually abused by people, their managers, whatever it may be. And like I said, Jamie Lynn Spears is not that far behind from that. And so maybe they are a big, you know, huge like piece of that disclosure and getting there, because, you know, it's going to have to come out eventually. Yeah. And whether this prompts other people to come out about experiences, I have no idea. But, you know, people, like I said, just don't know the information. They're too stupid to do their own research. So they go attacking somebody that's been equally as abused, her sister, just because it's in her name. It's like, you don't know. Like the most logical thing to think would be, oh, she doesn't want the rest of her family to get the money. She wants it to go to her sister that she's like this with. Do you know what I mean? Like people always think the dumbest, like the ego is so dumb. Like it just thinks of the stupidest things to focus on. So I feel like it will slowly come out. But what I was saying about that and music, Virginia was telling me this morning because we were talking about some things, and she said that some guy posted a video or somebody that she watched, and he shared that hip hop music, so rap music, whatever, the vibration is lowered to 400 and something hertz, which is meant to make people angry, make you vibrate at that frequency. Well, what people love rap and hip hop the most, and who are the most famous? Black people. So again, showing that that they hate Black people, and it just shows all of the stupid movements. And I had showed Georgia TikTok this morning, and this black woman, she was like, it came up, and she was like, what's something that you'll get in trouble for speaking, but you're gonna say it, what's something that you'll get roasted for saying? And this Black girl comes on, she's like, I'm gonna get roasted for it. I'm gonna get roasted for it. And then she goes, BLM can kick rocks. And I would show, but I can't do both screens, whatever. And I'll just, a summary. She just brought up some points. The main one was that Black people are not suppressed. It's a slave mentality. They've been free for hundreds of years. Like, get over it. Or 100 whatever plus years now. Like, just being like, the only ones that do it are ourselves. And that Black people are also racist. And that now there's stigma against white people and blah, blah. I just called everything out in a very nice 30-second summary. But I liked what she said. She was like, and people were saying stuff back to her being like, you've never experienced racism. She's like, fuck yeah, I did. But who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's everybody, and it doesn't mean that we're oppressed as a whole collective. And someone else was like, saying something about the slave mentality. She's like, look, if I think I'm ugly, I'm going to believe I'm ugly. If you think you're enslaved, you're going to believe you're enslaved or oppressed. It's literally just your mind telling you things. Very brilliant, educated person, knew what she was talking about. And it's just showing what Virginia said this morning about the music. You are fucked saying Black people aren't repressed. They are in their own minds, because everybody is repressed in their own minds. And we are all repressed by the system equally. And until people get out of the repression of their mind, they will only then realize that we are all repressed by the same system that wants us to hate each other.
Like there is no one on planet Earth who has not been oppressed and enslaved, period.
We're all enslaved.
So that's like the key here, is that if you keep focusing on the smaller picture, you're missing the big picture, okay? Which is that everyone is enslaved by the fucking cabal, okay? So if you're focused on what discrimination you are experiencing on a micro level, you're missing the point. So yeah, you can sit and talk all day, comp shooting, blah, blah, blah. You can go round and round in circles all day long. Guess what? It's a loop that will never end for you. Okay. They specifically set up that type of division between races, between sexes, genders, or now there's so many that, but originally, and there's only 2 genders, just so everyone knows. So, they set up all these different divisions between people, between high class, low class, Black, white, man, woman, this, that, religions. They have set up these discriminations so that you're constantly focused on the micro problems. You'll never get focused on the macro problems. So you've missed it. It's gone over your head. You will be in that loop of discrimination for the rest of your existence. You will be battling an external force that will never end, because that is what it's meant to do. The energy will continue to create reasons for you to battle something externally that you think is oppressing you, and you will miss it completely of who is actually oppressing you, which is the cabal. So if you're still focused on micro problems, you have fallen into the trap and the loop that they have set for you, and you will never get out of it. You'll never, ever, ever get out of it. Until humanity comes together as one collective, realizing that they, in fact, have been enslaved and manipulated by a much wider force than each other, they're not going to get it. That's why everybody's still stuck on the same dumb shit over the same loop. How many years would we like to do this racism thing? Are we going to be living in 2020? Are we going to be living in 2050 and still arguing about race? I fucking pray not. But by then, everyone will be robots and nobody will even care. There won't even be races anymore. Everybody will just be robot A and robot B. So
Yeah,
I mean, it's like that's where you're headed, honestly.
I mean, the main thing that people don't understand is that if you have that mentality, that's what you're gonna live. And the realizing that you don't know somebody, that people assume looking at someone that is white, that I know her thoughts, that she's sitting here being like, I hate all black people. Like, wow, I really hate Buddha because he has tan skin. Like, that's what they assume our inner thoughts are. But are you a mind reader? You don't know people's thoughts. Oh, they're white, they hate me. No, you hate yourself. Let's get it right. And you project your self-hatred onto people that you don't know. And because you don't understand energetics, you just want to blame. And that is the blame game that is played by everybody. Somebody else is creating problems in my life. You're creating your own problems. And you will keep repeating life behaviors until you learn your lesson. And that goes for everybody. Everybody can make the most out of any situation they've been put in. And that leads to a question I wanted to ask everybody based on another TikTok I saw, because this is where people don't know things about each other.
Yeah.
And I want to ask everybody, what would in your life would you identify as when you hit rock bottom? What happened in your life when you realized you needed to really change your life? Because I feel we're going to possibly hear some crazy shit from people, and you're going to realize that everybody's been through the fucking ringer in their lives, where they have to, what made people realize that you needed to change, that your life was heading in a direction where it wasn't getting better and you were just
Are we answering
taking yourself out?
Or is this
if you thought of something, please share. I'll start with asking Aurora. What was your rock bottom?
I would say my rock bottom was when I graduated from law school. Truthfully. And I was spending 10 to 12 hours a day studying for the bar. I was going on benders probably 3 to 4 days a week. I was loaded up on Xanax, Adderall, lots of other things, and basically realized, like, why am I doing all of this? Because essentially then I realized, what am I doing all of this for? Because I'm literally going to have to get a job that I hate and then be miserable in like 3 months. and I went into like the deepest depression of my existence. And then I found the website Love Is One. So it all happens for a reason. But that would definitely be my rock bottom. I feel that I was in such a deep level of like numbing and escapism that my mind, whatever you want to call the mind, in those moments, that's what I would have called it. But your brain, your state of being, your body, your emotions can't handle anymore. It's tapped. And so you either change and you realize you have to change the entire direction of your life, or you continue on the same path and you are inevitably going to either like have a severe breakdown to the point where you become mentally insane, or kill yourself. Those are really the only two options. So I feel most people probably in different ways hit that point where they realize, like, I either have to change my life completely and I have to figure out what the fuck I'm doing, or I'm going to continue on this path and I'm never going to get out of the hole, never going to be able to climb out of the hole that I'm currently in. So I've been bouncing off the rocks for several years.
A lot of people have. Mike said when Dina said that she was going to leave me, can definitely, that's a rock bottom.
Rob, I was doing shots at the bar at a little kid's birthday party and then drove my kids home.
Triggered rock bottom. That's definitely, that'll trigger something.
Yep.
Um,
Nancy said, June 2nd, 2000, oppressed 100% walked out of an abusive relationship with 5 kids and the clothes on my back. I'm still waiting for Nancy to tell her full story because she's told me clips and I'm like, you have to share this because Nancy and all of you to share your stories. And I don't mean just to put Nancy's, forward, but just because I have spoken to her about her specific journey before, and everybody has like very powerful stories of how they ended up changing their lives. And Nancy's was just really fascinating. Linda said, I was suicidal and sitting on the fence of life. It's either get help or do the job properly. Yep.
Get them, Linda.
Addiction and heartbreak. Yep.
And then Roxy said she was the same thing. I was like that before I found Mom. The biggest lie they told us is that God is coming to save us. Thank you, Mom, for teaching us how to save ourselves. Greg spent many moments there, made rock bottom my friend. You got to make it your friend because that's when you realize that you don't want to live that way anymore.
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I feel like that should be the questions that people ask other people when they're trying to get to know them. Because you have no idea what people life experiences are. Everybody just has these assumptions about everybody else and what they are and what they think. And, there's so many, like, the human story is essentially all the same. The human story is all the same. You reach a level of pain and suffering and you either continue down it or you change it. And some people don't have maybe the same stories of the level of pain and suffering, but those are the people that live with the mild pain and suffering that's just always there, and they just are in denial about it, or they just stay at that constant. It's like a medium pain and suffering. And then, of course, you'll have people who have hit the heavy pain and suffering, and those tend to be the ones that actually awaken. It's the ones that always keep their life mild. It's like just enough pain and suffering that they can handle it and they can think it's normal, but they never allow themselves to actually hit the heavy pain and suffering because they want to avoid the pain, not realizing that that's actually 9 times out of 10 where people awaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then Anna said, came to or woke up from a blackout driving out of a ditch on the 4th anniversary of my sister's car accident. Between her and Mother God, I'm alive.
Wow.
Katie said, I've had too many rock bottoms. Love you, Katie. And then Anna said, several myself. And then Andrea on YouTube said, when my mom got back together with my abuser, my stepfather was my sexual abuser. Yeah. Definitely people have had, several ones. And Dana said, I've hit rock bottom on the regular. It's transformation and shift. I'm like, bing boing on the bottom. Boing boing on the bottom.
Facebook froze again. They're about to fucking cut us. I know. I swear.
Yeah, it just stopped on mine.
Jesus Christ.
We had like 45 people that they're actually showing us too.
The level of horrorism is like out of control. Like, fuck this censorship, dude. Fuck. Well, nothing grinds my gears quite like censorship.
So dumb. Are you blocked now?
Yeah, they shut it down.
Oh.
I'm gonna relaunch it.
Okay. Yeah.
Such horrors.
Amanda just messaged me. Live stream went out just as you said. Those who have hit heavy pain and suffering, they just won't fucking allow anybody to say anything real. That's what it is. It's not even about truth necessarily, because everybody, if you're not connected to Mom, you have a varying levels of truth, but they don't want you to say anything fucking real ever. YouTube going strong. Yeah, YouTube for some reason somehow is holding on, even though they blocked us for a week, you know.
Maybe their algorithms are slower. Like it was faster for Facebook to hear the words
We're back on
BLM. And then all of a sudden they were like, "Choo choo, down, down. Again, boom, 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 boom. Shoot them down."
Like how many like Facebook employees watch our stream and just wait for us to say just the right thing, and then they're like, cut it.
They're like,
because I wanted to share this actually, because you know my fuck you for today. We're not at 8:50 yet, but fuck you, Facebook.
Oh.
Fuck you.
Can you lift it up a little bit, Buddha? Mom's head's
yeah.
missing.
That's my fuck you for today. I'm sure they'll delete the video. That's fine.
Yeah, the Facebook employees are just like, just say it. Just say it. You're white and you're going down, bitches. Oh, they said BLM. Boo!
And I was so agitated yesterday when they cut the guy's stream, and right after that, they can't hear you, no sound.
Bruh.
How is that possible?
Can't hear you, no sound.
Bruh.
Okay, just restart, Linda, because it.
Don't spin this, Linda.
Okay, Linda.
Come on, Linda.
Whew.
You got this.
Because I was looking at the analytics yesterday because I was just interested, like, you know, why did they cut the stream? Because they were only showing like 10 or 12 people on Facebook. It wasn't like, you know, sometimes we know when we get like going and there's a lot of people on the stream, that's usually when they cut it, like now. But they weren't even showing that many people on. They weren't showing comments. So I was like, why did they cut the stream? And then I go to it. And we know they've been censoring, throttling us for like a hot moment. And I was just looking at the analytics, and like our morning streams, which, you know, tend to get the most reach, only have between like 40 and 80 shares. Like between 40 and 80 shares consistently in the morning stream. But we reach a large number of people. So I don't know how their algorithms work. But yesterday on the guy's stream, and it's only 18 minutes long because they cut it after that, had 138 shares in 18 minutes. And I was like, that's why they cut it. But you wouldn't have even known because they didn't show that anybody was on the stream or that anybody viewed the stream. 138 shares in 18 minutes, quite a lot of shares. I was like, yo, we will never really truly know how much they have throttled Mom and her platforms until the end. I don't know. It's absolutely insane. Fight me, Zuckerberg. It was a robot who cut it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. And it's like we're talking about things, and then like as soon as like you're helping people and people are talking about themselves, it's like just cuts. When you're helping people like connect, transform, talk about something that they may need to look at if they want to share it, whatever it is, just gets people thinking, and that's transformation. You know, people feeling into situations, their life. It's such a large transformation of energy that they feel it. They have technology that can detect energy signatures coming from whether it's the internet or from people gathering in certain areas, and they're all at the same vibration. So yesterday cut out when y'all were talking about Jason.
That's that Lulu energy, man.
Pineapples. Yeah, I mean that energy too, the lower, and I mean we're just gonna let it go, but whatever. I mean, it's energetics.
Yeah.
It comes down to energetics. We've had the website get shut down when Mom was here many times. When Jason would go deeper into it, when he would be rising and then go back just into the lower. So that's all I'll say about that. I mean, we've had our website shut down for 2 weeks. Many times it would just glitch and it would take like a whole day to get it back up. Things like that. It's just energetics. And Mom always said, you know, if there's something there that's blocking it, it doesn't want people to get Mom's energy. And, you know, the censorship is interesting because we've had people last year, you know, they'd find us and comment. There was this guy that found us probably like last summer before like things started to get big, when a lot of people found us. And as soon as he commented a couple times on our stream, and then they never let him comment again. And he would watch every day and like send us, he was really nice. He would send us good morning messages and be like, love you, whatever. But he would just Facebook Messenger, use the Messenger app, whatever, because he couldn't, he was like, yeah, I could comment on the streams. And then he's like, ever since whatever morning, like I can go on, but I can't comment.
So many people have said they've gotten
And we
blocked
didn't,
from commenting.
and he wasn't like a weirdo or anything. Because like if we were talking to him and he was being weird, like I would have been like, okay, maybe we blocked you. But he would just say like he agreed with what we were saying. He liked our points. He would say good morning. Like he wasn't some, you know, obnoxious troll or anything like that. So, and I feel like there was another woman that said the same, that connected to us. Like she could comment in the beginning and then they blocked her from commenting. So
yeah, it's always a fascinating experience. But at some point it's all got to break. You know, the censorship cannot like go on. Sometimes I can't comment. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, at some point this all has to break through because the censorship of the truth just can't continue in the way that it is. It's absolute insanity. And, you know, we'll just keep finding ways around or through or however we're going to do it over and under, because there's just no way that you can just stop until these systems are broken. Didn't Trump say he's doing something big next week with big tech? He did say that in an interview with Newsmax.
yeah, and then Nancy said Hamila hasn't been able to comment since like last year.
Yeah,
he's like
I
pretty much a
remember
year.
saying that.
They kept blocking her, and I was like, the fuck? The thing, I don't even know. It's very interesting with Hamila too, because I brought it up. We did our human design ambassador class, and Hamila's a reflector, and they're a 1% of the population, and interestingly enough, it's Nancy's daughter is one of them, and it's just interesting because as soon as she found the stream, blocked. Facebook, every YouTube, they'd block her. They would just block her every single time. I'm like, why are they blocking Hamila? But they let Nancy on. It doesn't make sense. And so I don't know, there's something with her energy. They just must like pick up her energy because she is so unique. She puts off a completely different energy signature than, you know, the
I feel they know energy signatures quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've tried to explain to people when they're like, yeah, you think everything's a conspiracy. And, you know, there's people like that. They're just like, oh, you can't say everything is a conspiracy and there's an agenda behind everything. And I'm like, you don't get it. The cabal knows energy. They actually know energy very fucking well.
They have dark technology.
And that is where you are dumb. Because you don't know energy. You do, but you don't remember. That's what they have on you, is that they fucking know energy. And they're extremely perceptive of where light is coming from. If they have the technology to take your consciousness in the middle of your sleep and put it into a fucking clone, you don't think they have the technology that they can detect essences on this planet? That they can detect where high states of frequency are coming from? They absolutely fucking can. That's why mom had to basically come in the back door and hide. And once the cabal figured out which vessel she was in, it was game fucking over. Game over. They will activate sleeper cells around you. They will hijack people around you. They are very well versed in how to use dark technology. So if you are under the impression that, well, not everything is a conspiracy. No, it is. Because they are playing with energy and you aren't. You are playing with what you can see in front of you. And so you're already losing. You've already lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're playing in the game of energy and you're playing in the game of retardation. So
the physical illusion.
You've already lost because they in that way, that's how they've kept humanity behind them. They can never catch up because you're not looking at energy. You're looking at physicality. And so you can't play games with the cabal if you're playing on a different field. That's why mom always tried to tell people this is a spiritual war. This is not like rainbows and butterflies and checkerboards. You're in a spiritual war. You're playing on an energetic battlefield. You have to understand energy or you can't play the game. You just lose. You'll just lose every time. So that's why it's so important that people understand that It's not about looking at the lower and being like afraid of them. There's nothing to be afraid of. Yes, they know energy, but they also can't rise above certain levels, which humanity can. So if you can get on the same playing field, you will far exceed them very quickly. That's the key to the game, is that once you've figured out the game, you rise above it. And then there's no one for them to play the game with anymore. But you have to get to that point where you understand what the fuck what you're playing. And I feel for most people, they don't. I wanted to read this article before we get to our fuck yous, even though I already told you guys what mine is today. But I posted it yesterday. It was actually a really good article. It's on the site, and it's called "The True Revolutionaries Who Are Making History into Her Story." It's by Grace Solaris, a girl on Facebook. Yeah, Grace. She's really good. She said, "To the Starseed ground crew, the pioneers of New Earth, you are the true pathfinders, the explorers of consciousness, the true revolutionaries who are making his story into her story. You are the black sheeps that voluntarily left the flock to seek new horizons, and the lone wolves that trusted yourselves enough and found strength to go where no one dared to go. You have prepared well and gone this path of exploration of consciousness for eons. You are master alchemists and shapeshifters and here to make the change. Where you show up, change happens because you're not afraid of asking questions where others hesitate and keep silent. You're not afraid of using your voice to state truth because you trust your heart and what feels right. Some of you have found the strength to reclaim your voice, as many of you have been silenced and punished for being rebellious and non-obedient. But that is your force and your strength, and you are here to claim it and be the sovereign beings of consciousness, masters of consciousness that you came here to be, to change the course of evolution, to rise the frequency of this planet back into harmony and oneness, as you have done many times throughout the galactic trajectories. You are system busters, and you are here to move mountains of consciousness. It is your specialty. You've gone far enough down the rabbit hole to know that any fabricated truth with an ego agenda cannot be forced upon those that have genuine integrity and owning their inner truth. You cannot be owned or enslaved. You are here to live by example, to bring the flock back into their hearts, assist them in gaining trust in their inner power and supreme being that resides within them. It is time to come out of the closet now. It is time to raise the mothership, the galactic consciousness that is the highest expression of who you are, your divine inheritance. It takes your full commitment to stand to the truth of who you are. You need no one's validation other than the validation of your heart, as you trust your heart's inner knowing that you are all you need to be. There is reason for the calling for a higher purpose. Let your heart do the talking, listen, and simply surrender to the divine flow, which will cater for you always being called in divine timing to the exact right place for a reason that is beyond what you can conceive. You are here with a great purpose, so let your passions guide you. If you feel guided to speak up and share, then speak up. If you're guided to go and plant crystals or hold space in a certain place, then go. It's time to play for real. Come out of your disguise, and it's time to be in integrity with your hearts, knowing that you are much more than what the naked eye can see. You are much vaster than the borders of your body. You are as vast as the universe itself. You are the bringers of the dawn, and your time is now. You must reclaim your full galactic potential and embody the galactic mastery that you are here to be, and anchor in the new earth consciousness to reverse the course of this planet from separation to oneness. It is time to end thousands of years of enslavement and mind programming. Nothing or no one was ever meant to rule you or suppress you. You know deep within that all is intrinsically connected in an immaculate web of love where no one is lower and no one is higher. No one is superior, no one inferior, and there are no rules to obey and no one to obey. Love is the answer. As you rise, commanders of the light, take your voice back, take your rights back, take your sacred DNA blueprint and galactic mastery back. Pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was jazzy.
Well, clean out your closets and dust off the bullshit. It's a good one.
It's a good one. Nice. We have somebody from Japan on YouTube. That's cool.
Well, hello from Japan.
He's doing his best to communicate. Well, that's good.
Nancy, may I add autocorrect to the fuck you call outs?
Yeah, fuck autocorrect.
Yes, you can. Well, I know my fuck you for today. Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. One of the biggest horrors of all time. One of the biggest AI clones of all time. Why do you own the most of the island of Kauai? Why?
So robots, he has to be with his people.
Is that where the dark technology is, Zuckerberg?
Is that where the portal is? Why would a reptilian that's probably trying to get off the planet go to Kauai?
Good question.
Jeff Bezos straight dipped off this planet. Zuckerberg's probably not far behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So fuck you for lying and saying you created Facebook, because we all know you didn't. And fuck you for the censorship of the collective voice. Fuck you for allowing such idiocy on Facebook, but yet disabling and blocking anyone who says anything real whatsoever. Fuck you for suggesting people change their profile picture to have a COVID ring around it. Fuck you for fact checkers. Like, fuck all of it. Fuck you. Fuck you for blocking and taking down all of Mom's groups. Fuck you for throttling her platforms. And I personally hope Facebook goes down in flames.
It will. And fuck that stupid movie about Facebook. It fucking sucked.
The social, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the social shit. The social crap. That movie was fake and bullshit, and there's no way that was real. Could have been better. Could have been way better.
Can someone plug in the laptop?
Por favor.
Okay, you got one for today?
I feel my fuck you today is going to an entire country.
Oh no.
And I can say fuck you to this country because my family comes from this country. Fuck you, Canada. Fuck you, Canada.
I think all the Canadians will agree with you.
My ancestors are extremely disappointed. Not that they were that great anyways. Let's be real. Canada, you fucking suck. The government, tyranny, the fact that they were letting like the French control some portion. What the fuck were you doing? What the fuck? And then you go to fucking Quebec and all these people are speaking French as a way to confuse people. I have no fucking idea what's going on in Canada half the time. You got like people over here, you have people over here, and nothing in the fucking middle. What the fuck is in the middle of Canada? Nothing.
Cloning centers.
Exactly.
That actually happened to be where this being, Donald Marshall, lived in Canada.
Smack dab in the middle of Canada.
He said that is where some of the largest cloning centers are.
You got people over here, nothing in the middle. That's very sus. Canada.
Super sus.
Don't get me fucking started on the stupid schools that they forced Native Americans to go to. Whatever the reformer, suck my ass. Whatever the fuck you called them. They don't even deserve to be called that. It was called fucking torture chambers for Native Americans. Children, actually. And the fact that they found more graves at these schools. Fuck you guys. Fuck you up the ass. Well, you wanted to take away the fucking Native American culture. Guess what? You can't kill Great Spirit. They're still alive. What the fuck are you doing? You thought that you, transform them to make them Catholic? What, and boring? That's like the worst religion ever. I'd rather be a fucking Native American and have that culture still alive in me than go into a fucking church and eating shit fucking loaves of stale bread and being told it's Jesus' body. Who the fuck wants to live a life like that? Not those kids. So what'd you do? Kill them?
Not those kids.
Because they weren't white? Just Canada, all around. They're still in like stage 1 out of 3 stages of lockdown procedures, which is like the worst one. Like that they're in like this high lockdown. Heard Toronto is like the worst city ever. Like worse than cities in the United States. It's tough to beat like LA. It's really hard to beat Venice Beach, but people say Toronto is like the worst. Rumor has it. I've never been there. Don't plan on going there. Sorry if anyone's in Toronto. It sounds dense as fuck.
Yeah, I feel on that note, if maybe I'll share Amanda's video that she did yesterday, or just that clip of the Canadian news.
Canada sucks. Not the people.
So thanks, Amanda, for this video.
Some of you may know it.
This was on our Telegram channel.
News station Some of you may know it. It's in Canada. I'm located in Ottawa, Canada. So this is news that was sent out on the radio, anyways. So CFRA was saying a lot of stuff. It was pretty wild. So, anyways, this is what I heard off CFRA. They said the exact words, the Satanic Queen and Vatican is going down. They said it very briefly, very quickly, and I caught it. I was like, oh, okay. And so that's interesting. They said it very much after they were speaking. They spoke for a pretty big, lengthy time about the 751 people, okay, mainly children, so hundreds more unmarked graves found at a former residential school in Canada. 751. So this is another one, okay? This is after the 215 remains, okay, mostly children, at the Kamloops residential school. So this is big, guys. This is huge. This is more and more disclosure is coming out. So crimes against humanity, which is an assault on the First Nations people. So, more and more truths are coming out. And there you have it, guys. So I just thought I would pop on to kind of like voice it, because not every.
So thanks, Amanda, for sharing. That's very interesting that they put that on the radio.
Yeah, I feel like there's a huge part of Canada that's a part of disclosure, and they're just getting worse with everything. And like Mike said, they're turning like communist. It's just ridiculous at this point, because we get a lot of people from Canada. We have a lot of Canadians that find us and support the streams and everything, and it's, they're just being heavily censored. They're being shut down because it's not just the people that find Mom. It means that the collective as a whole is raising in vibration as more people connect to us from Canada, and they've just totally shut it down, like blocking the borders, being this way. I mean, the climate in Canada is absolutely, like, it's not fun to live in Canada. Like, it's fucking cold a lot of the year. And it's like the weather modification and all of these things, you can see the backlash. And yes, there's always energetic reasons for why certain areas are cold versus hot. And you can see the heat wave that is happening now. So you have actually this entire weekend, so more up north than the entire West Coast has been going through that extreme heat wave, all the way from Arizona, New Mexico, Cali, Colorado, Oregon, Washington, Utah, Nevada, heat wave, massive heat wave out there. This weekend, it's going to be like ridiculous in Washington, probably a bit north of Canada. That's on like the, I forget that part of Canada on the left side.
Spokane?
I think it's
that's Washington.
It's north of Washington. I think it's like British Columbia or whatever they call it. There's islands off the coast of Canada. That's on the left side of Canada. Anyways, like up there, stretching into Canada from Washington down to Oregon, it's going to be like fucking hot, over 100 plus degrees, which is very rare. It's going to break records. I really don't understand. We don't know what they have control of at this point. Like, can they still alter weather? I just really don't feel so. There's everything that's happening for a reason, whether people are, it's burning density out of these areas physically because the West Coast is so dense, and so they don't get rocked by a major revelation earthquake, and Mom's giving it this way to people, possibly. I also know that Siberia is extremely fucking hot. It's like 118 plus degrees in Siberia, which is it's north. Siberia may be a part of Russia. I do not feel it's its own country, but it's north in Russia. It's very cold, as everyone imagines Siberia. If you've heard anything, you probably think it's like a very cold area. It is. And they do have a large population, like a couple million people that live in Siberia. It's a big city, I feel, in Russia, or around that area, whatever. And it's very cold most of the year. They do get summer. It does get a bit warmer, but it's fucking frying them. They're like, they have a heat warning to like, you can burn yourself walking on the street. Pretty much at that point. It's fucking hot. And that's like the fucking Arctic Circle up there. They're right on like that area. It's fucking nuts what's happening. And I've seen nothing reported of that. I don't even know where I fucking saw the Siberia thing. I feel someone mentioned it and then I looked it up and it's insane like how hot it is. And yes, is density burning up? Of course. But it's just, the planet is acting so weird, which is mom, duh, is having these abnormal experiences because this ascension is popping off and you can't ignore it. And maybe people won't ignore it when something happens on the West Coast that's like beyond disastrous, that people actually have to face like what we've done and make some changes or actually pay attention to what's really going on the planet. We had a little bit of rain in Northern California the other day. Very strange for June.
Interesting.
Yeah, it did rain in some areas. Sorry, it said it rained in Sedona yesterday or the day before. And Roxy said it had rained in Utah, which they had been needing rain too. They've been on wildfire watch. So it's just very interesting with the weather. And whatever mom's doing, and whether it's just like, again, the slower way to burn density out of people, that's not going to be a massive fucking earthquake because mom's so compassionate. I have no idea. So we will see. But those were our fuck yous for today, and we love you guys.
Yeah.
I don't really feel we have any announcements or anything. We have some stuff, like we said, coming in July. We're also looking into a new streaming platform potentially, just because, and whatever it ends up being, we just can't stay on these platforms forever. And it's like, was a ticking time bomb with both? And if we're going to be whole truth, we're going to get censored on this. And before it's too late of being shut down fully and then not being able to tell people we're on these platforms because we don't have our pages anymore, things have to move. So we're working on that. Thank you guys for being here and supporting every day, watching, commenting, participating, being here in honor of mom. We're so grateful for all of you. We will be back at 6 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, and some of the team will be back at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and we will see you tomorrow. 5, 6, 7, 8. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Love has won and joy reigns. Na 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 na. Joy. Na 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 na. Joy reigns. Hey, hey, hey. Love has won. We love you.